Yeah.
With Connor out, what, if any, adjustments are going to have to be made this week?
Just keep doing what we do. You know, the next guy up. So Sonny Macassini played well in his place, and we've been giving reps to Bruce there too, and we've got some contingency plans, and we've just been working different combinations so that we're ready for anything.
How do you get the run game going a little more, despite the injuries to the line and injuries to running backs? How do you make it a little more productive?
That's a challenge. The injuries at O-line and at running back have been, it's been hard to get anybody in a rhythm and really get rolling. Our run game has improved a great deal from a year ago. We're a lot better than we were a year ago, and I think we're getting better every game. That's the other thing, is this season we've improved every single game. And so I think as long as we just keep making that incremental improvement, we're going to have a chance every week. And I think the end goal is just to play a little bit better each week than we played the week before. That's it. That's all you're thinking about, is win this game and show some improvement. And if we keep improving, then we'll see where we're at the end.
This Arizona defense has been very aggressive, and you talked about the fact that Baylor started blitzing you guys heavy into that game. You expecting essentially a similar type scheme almost coming into this one?
Arizona is a good defense. They play really well together. They are a very aggressive unit, very skilled, and I'm impressed. I think there's all the talks about their offense, but their defense has actually played very well this year, and they're doing a good job. Very disruptive and athletic.
How happy have you been with your red zone offense? It seems to me like that's been a pretty strong
positive. It's been a positive up to this point, and if we can, there's still some things we can do a little better, but a red zone offense has been a bright spot for sure.
How about Jake's play against Baylor and just through 5 games? How do you assess how
I thought he played very well against Baylor, I think as far as overall, I think he's getting better every game. I know up through 9 games, 9 starts or whatever. I mean, he's up there with some of the best QBs that ever played here, at least statistically. And I expect him to just keep getting better every game. Again, that's the goal, is just play a little better each week. And I see that happening with him. And I expect him to do it again this week.
You talked about the lack of continuity through running backs, but are you expecting LJ to kind of just pick up where he left off?
Yeah, I mean, LJ's a good player, and if he's feeling good Saturday and ready to go, then you'll see a lot of him.
Did you learn much from last year's bye week before the TCU game that you've kind of implemented to maybe avoid the offensive roster?
That's a good. Yeah, we've talked a lot about that. What did we do? What did we do wrong last year to play so poorly off the bye? And we took a look at everything, and I think we made some good corrections. We probably practiced a little too much last year. After the bye week, but you don't want to be rusty, but you don't want to overdo it either. And I think we found a good balance this week. We'll find out on Saturday if we did it right.
What's been your message to the offense regarding just additional spotlight, national attention? Is this as usual, or is there a little bit hey, enjoy this because it doesn't come around every single year?
No, I mean, mostly we've just talked about how the only thing that really matters is just the next opponent, and just trying to play better this week than we did the last week, and that's it. And in the summer, nobody thought we were any good, and that didn't mean anything. And now some people think we are pretty good. That doesn't mean anything either. All that matters is playing well on Saturday.
How has Gary been, just as far as staying ready and being kind of still cued in and everything?
Gary is a total pro. I mean, he's a joy to have on this team. He prepares every day like he's going to be the starter, and in the games he's locked in. I know he's talking to Jake, and have total confidence in him that if his opportunity comes, he'll be ready to play well. He's a good player and a great guy. Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, thanks. I forgot my normal ones.
Bruce, how are we? Doing well.
First time you've
Can
ever
you
done
stand
this?
up kind of close to that mic?
Right here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Awesome.
Bruce, how have you been able to stay ready in case your name's been called like it has been the last couple of weeks?
I think it's just treating every week as if I'm going to play. Putting in the same preparation. Whether I'm going to be a backup that week or whether I know I'm starting. My preparation's been the same. My practices have been the same. So, that's how I've stayed ready through it all, whether or not I'm going to play or not.
Do you know if you're going to play some this week? Or?
We'll see. We're trying to put out our best 5-0 line, rotating some guys day by day with some guys. So we'll see what will happen this coming Saturday.
Aaron talked about the fact they've worked you in at center to get snaps. And have you ever been a center at any point in your life?
Maybe a little bit in high school, at South Summit, but I mostly played tackle. I was probably just like backup center if I remember right. So a little bit of center, but yeah.
Is there a learning curve to getting it? Because you got to make calls, obviously,
right.
And everything. You feel like you can do that if called upon?
Yeah, we got some great older O-linemen standing around that can help you out with the calls and the IDs and protections and everything. And then it is different. I mean, that first step, you got your hand between your legs when you need it on the guy you're trying to hit. So that makes it a little more difficult, trying to play with just one hand. But, no, just really good teammates around you to help you figure things out if you need help.
Has that transition been difficult from D-line to O-line? And when did you kind of make that?
So the transition originally happened this spring. Jay Hill called me into his office and we met. And he summarized up the conversation. He told me, I think you'd make a better offensive lineman than a defensive lineman, but we love you on the D-line. Met with Coach Woods. And so this spring is when I made the transition to O-line. And it's helped that I've played it in high school a little bit. And then, I think there's a lot of carryover. Footwork's a little different, but being really strong has helped me transition to offensive line for sure.
What was the hardest part about transitioning from offense to defensive, from defense to offense?
Yeah, I think this is no offense to all my defensive line teammates, but you got to think a lot more on the offensive line. It's not so much just following a gap or whatnot, but you gotta figure out who you're blocking, and sometimes that changes. You got to see blitzes and protection. So it's definitely a lot more mental of a game on the offensive line as compared to defensive line, but. Yeah.
Coming from Camas, do you take pride in being kind of a small town guy that made it kind of on the big stage?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of us on this team. Jake Eichhorn, he's from Beaver. Blake Mengelson, Juab. Yeah. We got some small town guys, and we try to stay together. But yeah, there's definitely some pride to be able to make it from a 2A high school to playing a Division I football for sure.
Coming out of high school, did you have a lot of offers or kind of?
BYU was it. Yeah, they offered me, and I didn't think I was going to do much better, so I committed. Felt pretty lucky.
Were you a BYU guy growing up?
Definitely, yeah. I was a BYU fan. I remember coming to games with my mom growing up, and now we're here. It's so surreal to be playing, in that stadium that I went to growing up, and. Yeah, it's an awesome experience to be here.
So you grew up coming to the stadium. We were talking to Crew Wakely yesterday, and he said that when he was not playing at BYU, people told him, like, coming in and playing at Lavelle, you had to experience it to really understand what it's all about.
Right.
You've sat in the stands, but now you've also been on the field. How big of a difference is it?
It's hard to explain, like, what you're feeling out there. You can't even hear yourself think. It's so loud, and I don't think I'm going to answer your question very well, but it's an awesome experience just to go out there, play in front of like such dedicated fans. Because we played in big stadiums that hold more than Lavelle Edwards, but there's nothing like 60,000 people that are all screaming. That's hard to beat, and that's what you get at Lavelle. So it's a fun time.
You guys good?
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Bruce is
Yep.
loose.
Yep. Big Bruce is done. Thanks,
You
Bruce.
ever go eat at the Notch?
What?
You ever go eat at the Notch?
What's up? The Samac, right?
Yeah, my family has a cat.
Okay. I haven't ate there, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.